This is an Inverto staking set. It's a set of tools that is used mostly for watch repair, although there are also some applications for clock repair. I bought this at a flea market. I've done some restoration work on the case. I'm going to talk about what I did to restore the case and also some general information about this type of tool. This particular case has what's called the auto tilt feature. So as you raise this lid, there's a secondary set of hinges in the back that tilts the tool block up so that you can see the punches better. Under the handle is a metal plate that says staking tool number 18, Inverto, manufactured by Kendrick and Davis, Lebanon, New Hampshire. When I bought this, the case was in rough shape. The finish was dull, there was alligatoring, there were scratches. Some of the scratches were deep enough to go all the way through the finish. The clasp mechanism was not working. There's two parts to it. This hook that comes down is held in by 3 pins, and the spring-loaded clasp down below is also held in by 3 pins. And over time, these pins had loosened up and it wasn't working. Now, a lot of people would have probably just left it the way it is because the cosmetic condition of the case does not really affect how you use the tool. But I looked at this case and I thought, I think this is mahogany. I was picturing how it must have looked when the tool was new, so I decided to try to restore it. I do not have video of me actually restoring the case. I do have some still photos of what it looked like before. To restore this, the first thing I did was take everything apart. So I took all the punches out, took all the stubs out, took the handle off, took the clasp mechanism off, and then took the tool block out. There's 2 sets of pins, one in the front, one in the back, that hold the tool block in. There's a set of regular hinges, and then there's the secondary set of hinges that came out. The set of hinges in the back here are interchangeable. These 2 here are not interchangeable. There's a left and a right, and you need to keep track of which is which. Then a couple of the joints in the base, and I think 1 or 2 of the joints in the corners of the cover had failed, and the corners were coming apart. So the first thing I did was glue those back together and clamp them and let that dry. Now, the existing finish was stain, and then on top of stain you had lacquer. And the nice thing about a lacquer finish is that you can usually rejuvenate the finish without having to strip it to bare wood. And that's what I wanted to do, because I didn't want to make this look like it was brand new. I wanted to retain some of the patina of age. And so the next step I did was where there were deep scratches and gouges that went all the way through the finish, I touched those up with some stain. Then I used a small brush and some lacquer thinner, and the idea is lacquer thinner will dissolve the lacquer and smooth it out. So I did that a couple of times, and then I came on top with more coats of lacquer. I think I put on maybe 3 coats of lacquer, and you let a couple of hours cure time between coats. And then when you put the final coat on, you let it cure for a good 8 days or 10 days. And then you rub out the finish with something like 4/0 steel wool and some soapy water. The idea of rubbing out the finish is smooth it up a little bit. I use kind of a high gloss lacquer, and I wanted to knock down the shinies of it a little bit. So I use soapy water and steel wool to knock it down. And then put the whole thing back together again. The way I addressed the issue of these pins being too loose is that when I was applying the lacquer, I just made sure to get lots of lacquer in the holes with the idea of gumming up the holes and making it tighter, and that seems to have worked. When I initially put this back together, I was running into an issue that this hook, instead of entering the opening, was banging on towards the outer edge of this. So I just took a pair of pliers and bent this hook in a little bit. Now, my plan is to baby this mechanism a little bit. I could push it down and force the spring, but I'm going to just operate it with my finger because I don't want to put stress on these pins. This tool is something like 90 or 100 years old, and I'm going to treat it with some gentleness. Now, this set would have originally had, there would have been 10 of these sub punches up at the top, and the sub punches are about half the length of the regular punches. And from what I'm reading, the sub punches are for the purpose of extracting screws that have broken off, so they're probably not used very often. Then there's 120 regular punches, and the ones that are K and D have K and D on the side of them, and then a number that identifies which punch it is. And I'll put up a photo of that. This is a punch extractor tool. The punches are set very close together. So to grab one, you just push this down on there, it pulls it out. And then when you want to put the punch back, you put it back, and then you push on the top of the tool to release the punch back into its hole. This is the frame. The dial plate on this has 25 holes. The base of the frame has 3 patent dates on it. August 26th, 1902, November 24th, 1908, and April 7th, 1925. This set is not complete. I'm missing 2 of the stubs here. I'm missing maybe 10 or 15 of the punches, but I'm going to have to live with that. I found a book online that Kendrick and Davis put out in 1910. It's called Staking Tools and How to Use Them. Pages 32 and 33 of the book has a list of the punches that would have been included in a set like this. I was able to download the book for free, and I printed it out and I put it into a loose leaf notebook. There's also a website that somebody put a lot of time and effort into producing. It's called kndinverto.weebly.com that has a lot of information about this set of tools and the history of Kendrick and Davis. I will put a link to that in the show notes. If you have enjoyed this video, I hope you will subscribe to my channel. That would help me out, and it's free. Thanks for watching.